Listen, some of y'all could be sitting on an extra 100 grand or so and don't even know it. Don't even know it. And you could be about to do some renovations on your home. Please, please be thorough, man. That's my gift to you, just to tell you to look out and make sure you're thorough. Because you could have an extra 100 grand or so in your home because there's some undiscovered treasure or item or something that's worth a lot of money there and you don't know it. So be thorough, man. We're going to check out this next video. This is discovery during home renovation leads to FBI investigation.
Do you think you already know everything there is to know about your house? These people thought they did, until they renovated their homes and stumbled upon the unexpected. From a 13th century painting to perfectly preserved remains, here are 20 shocking discoveries made during renovations. Number 20. 13th century painting found in woman's home. Look around your house. Perhaps you're missing something actually valuable. Perhaps a painting that costs thousands of dollars, or maybe even one that can be considered a national treasure. It sounds impossible for the majority of us, but in 2019, a woman was overwhelmed by the discovery of an amazing artwork that was soon considered to be a national treasure. This long-lost artwork, titled Christ Mocked, was among the many artworks of 13th century Italian artist Cimabue. The painting depicts Christ in dark robes, seemingly harassed by a group of men, some bearing swords. Despite being centuries old and having endured multiple historical events like the French Revolution and various wars, the artwork remains in impressive condition. It was supposed to be something displayed in a museum, but instead, it spent years hung above a hot plate in a Parisian woman's home. If it weren't for an expert who saw the artwork, perhaps it would have remained there longer. The rare find was immediately set to auction, estimated to be worth between $4.4 to $6.6 million. Given the
and it was sitting above a hot plate, bro. That's the other thing. We don't have the knowledge. We could be sitting on millions that's not even buried or in the walls of our home. It's just out and open. We just don't know.
Value of the painting, this price was reasonable. What's more, it was the very first time a work of artist Cimabue was set to be auctioned. It's also the very first pre-1500 painting sold in the auction house. Naturally, the nation scrambled to buy and secure the painting. However, it seemed like Chilean collectors outbid them. Now, here's where it gets tragic. Only for the woman's heirs. The woman who owned the painting died shortly after the sale, and to inherit the money, her heirs needed to pay almost $10 million in inheritance tax.
Wow.
The painting sold for $26 million, but the heirs won't receive the entirety of that. That's minus taxes, minus other taxes, and other shares. This story highlights the complexities and sometimes harsh realities of inheriting significant wealth in a world where taxes can significantly impact one's legacy. Quite tragic indeed. Before we go on,
No, this shows how messed up our world is and how we're set up to fail. That's is no reason. Like, everybody else got to dip their hands in it too. Why? They didn't find this. They didn't have this. They didn't even know about it until it was brought up. And now they feel like they get a piece too. Like that, I hate it.
Like this video, smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell right now. Number 19. 4,000 pieces of archaeological finds. In 2011, historians were incredibly amazed by the discovery of a treasure trove of 4,000 historical pieces. This was discovered in Nunnington Hall, a prominent country house in North Yorkshire, England. A coded notebook of a Jacobite rebel was among the historic finds. It turned out that the house was historic and once belonged to Richard Graham, the first Viscount Preston, an influential statesman during the reign of James II and an ambassador to the French court. His covert involvement with the Jacobite movement, supporting the return of James II after the Glorious Revolution, led to his arrest and subsequent conviction for treason. Although sentenced to death, his daughter's plea to Queen Mary saved him, allowing him to spend his remaining years at Nunnington. Aside from the journal, seeds, wax seals, pen nibs, fragments of silk dresses, and other small trinkets were also discovered beneath the floorboards. So if you think you have a house that was built a long time ago, who knows? You just might stumble upon a great and unexpected find during your renovations. Number 18. Hidden hot tub. For those who love to relax and unwind, you'd probably be envious of this discovery. Mark and Jenny Ronsman, a couple from Wisconsin, made an unexpected discovery in their home several years ago. When they purchased their residence about 3.5 years ago, they were informed about a concealed hot tub beneath their home office. But with busy lives, they'd never ventured to uncover this hidden gem until they finally found some extra time. The former owner, an elderly woman, had shared stories of this quote-unquote secret oasis, explaining it was transformed into an office due to its disuse over the years. She even showed them an old photograph, though it barely revealed the tub's appearance. Upon this discovery, the couple dedicated countless hours to restoring it. They ensured every tile sparkled, the water was sanitized, and safety precautions were in place, especially considering their young daughter's safety. The home held special significance, not just because of the hidden hot tub, but because of its sentimental value. The previous owner wished for a loving family to reside in the home. Well, with the newly renovated hot tub, I think the family will enjoy the new house. Number 17. Couple finds century-old bottles of bootleg whiskey. In 2020, Nick Drummond and Patrick Baker's home renovation in Ames, New York took an unexpected turn. While they were anticipating the usual challenges that come with revamping an old home, they surely didn't expect to unearth a stash of 1920s whiskey bottles concealed within the walls. As they peeled back layers of the home, they stumbled upon these hidden compartments. Nick, puzzled by the unexpected find of glass amidst what he assumed was insulation, quickly realized they had chanced upon bootlegged booze from the Prohibition era. Interestingly, there were rumors.
I know. It would have took everything in me not to try it, because you have to fight the urge not to try it. You know it's probably bad, probably gonna mess you up or do something harmful to you, send you to the hospital or something like that. Knowing all of that, it's still gonna be hard for you to just resist, not to try to taste it and just see what it tastes like.
Rumors about the house's origins that the couple had previously brushed off as neighborhood lore. Local tales had it that a bootlegger once owned their home. Nick's skepticism turned to awe as the stories began to align with their discovery. And the surprises didn't end with the walls. A hatch in the mudroom, previously disregarded as mere crawlspace access, revealed another stash of the illicit liquid, ingeniously hidden under the floorboards. While many of the bottles were from around 1923, not all were in a drinkable state. However, Nick and Patrick plan to preserve the legacy of their find. They're thinking of integrating a few empty bottles into the home's design, perhaps using a glass panel to display the bottles under the floor as an homage to the home's colorful history. Number 16. More whiskey bottles. We all want to save money whenever we can. Surely we've all done a little DIY at some point in our lives. Well, this family's attempt to cut costs on installing a central air conditioning unit led to an unexpected discovery in their St. Joseph home in Missouri. 40-year-old Brian, who owns the house, knew upon purchasing it that its history dates back to the 1850s. However, he didn't expect to find 13 bottles of whiskey from the 1910s. The bottles, dating back to 1917 and distilled between 1912 and 1913, had their own intriguing story. Among them were 4 bottles of Hellman's celebrated Old Crow whiskey, a label that became exclusive to Edson Bradley, now known as Old Crow whiskey. The attic also preserved Guggenheimer, a former Pennsylvania rye whiskey, and W.H. McBrayer's Cedar Brook whiskey. As a lover of history and bourbon, Brian was inclined to open these aged bottles when they hit the century mark in 2017, but a part of him hesitated, fearing the whiskey might not meet his elevated expectations. Unlike wine, in which yeast continues fermenting in the bottle, whiskey's alcohol content is too high to support any organisms. As long as the cap or cork was secure enough not to let in much oxygen, the age of the bottle did not affect the quality or taste of its contents. Well, if you were curious about how the whiskey tasted, unfortunately, only Brian would have been able to answer that, and he has yet to share his experience. Number 15. Giant Monopoly Board. A couple shared quite an astonishing discovery on Reddit. A Monopoly board as big as their entire...
Let me go back and look and see something.
A couple shared quite an astonishing discovery on Reddit. A Monopoly board as big as their entire carpet. The couple found the board after removing the carpet, which they thought needed to finally be changed. The board underneath the carpet had all the icons.
I'm trying to see, because in these Mandela effects, they're trying to say he didn't have the eyeglass, the little, what you call it, the little eyeglass thing back in the day. And if this thing is old enough, it should show it if we could see.
Iconic features of an actual playable Monopoly board, including chance and community chest slots. The Reddit community was quick to share insights. To some, this discovery wasn't an entirely novel concept. Turns out, painting massive board games on basement floors was something of a trend in the 1950s. One user recounted how an entire neighborhood constructed in the mid-50s near them had similar game boards, suggesting it might have been a quirky selling point for homes of that era. I mean, if a house had this, I would definitely buy it in a heartbeat. Only if I had the money, of course. Number 14. Thousands of bees living behind the walls. Honey? Anyone? In 2020, a couple needed to make a much-needed renovation when they noticed that honey was dripping down the walls of their home. Well, initially, homeowners Andrea and Justin thought that the liquid flowing down their walls was caused by water damage, but it turned out to be worse. For 5 years, the couple has lived in their centuries-old house without any hint of an unusual cohabitation. To their astonishment, not only were bees residing within their walls, but also they had created a massive honeycomb, unknown to the homeowners until the sticky substance began to literally ooze out of the walls. The couple even claimed they never heard any buzzing noises, but when Andrea traced the honey's path, there they found several bees. Alan Latanzi, a local beekeeper and general contractor, estimated that the hive housed between 20,000 to 30,000 bees. He speculated that the recent storm's rainwater might have entered the hive, turning the nectar more liquid, which then dripped down the walls. The Isabels' children were fascinated by the phenomena, and even their family dog seemed to relish the unexpected treat. The estimated repair cost was around $3,000, an expense their homeowner's insurance might not have covered. However, Andrea remained optimistic, noting that the bees did not venture inside the living areas of their home. You'd be delighted to know that the couple decided to humanely and properly relocate the bee colony to Latanzi's property, where the little hardworking insects could flourish without disturbing or harming anyone. I mean, contrary to general consensus, bees are actually pretty friendly insects, and wouldn't attack anyone randomly. Number 13. Perfectly preserved mummy. Now this is definitely quite an unexpected find. It's not exactly in a home, but it was discovered near a residential...
Oh, I thought they was about to say they found that in somebody's wall. I was about to say, bro, that was going to be ranked at the top of the list for me. Oh, man.
Residential area in eastern China, particularly by road workers expanding a street in the city of Taizhou, Jiangsu province. The workers stumbled upon a mummy believed to be 700 years old. The mummy is thought to have been a high-ranking member of the Ming dynasty, which ruled China from 1368 to 1644. The body, discovered 2 meters beneath the road's surface alongside 2 wooden tombs, offers an intriguing glimpse into the life and times of the Ming dynasty. The preservation of the mummy is nothing short of astounding. The woman's features, ranging from her eyebrows to her shoes, appear almost untouched by time. Even her skin, hair, eyelashes, and face show minimal signs of decay, making her seem as though she had only recently passed away. On being uncovered, Chinese archaeologists from the Museum of Taizhou were summoned to examine the find. When they opened the coffin on March 1st, they found the body submerged in a brown liquid. The mummy, measuring 1.5 meters in height, was adorned in traditional Ming dynasty attire. Notably, her right hand displayed a well-preserved ring. Alongside the mummy and the coffin, researchers found bones, ceramics, ancient manuscripts, and various artifacts. Number 12. Buried cache that dates back to 1934. While undertaking excavation work around his 1920s-era home in Wildwood, New Jersey, Rich Gilson unexpectedly found tightly wound wads of old $10 and $20 bills, summing up to $1,000. These bills were all dated back to 1934. Gilson was initially cleaning debris after he and his wife Suzanne had updated their home with a new foundation and an addition. During the excavation, he mistook 2 small cylindrical objects for rubbish and discarded them. However, after the rain exposed them further, he realized they were rolls of money. Good thing he spotted those. The cache of money was discovered beneath the porch, accessible only through a crawl space. All the bills, intriguingly, shared the same 1934 date. Gilson found it odd, since bills in regular circulation typically vary in dates. Considering the Great Depression's timeline, the sum he found would equate to over $21,000 in today's value. Now that's definitely a great find. Number 11. Message in a bottle. While undergoing home renovations in Newcastle, Australia, Matt Streetfield made an unusual discovery. Instead of finding a message in a bottle washed ashore, he found one wedged between 2 walls of his house. The note dated back to 1974 and was penned by plasterers from Newcastle Interior Linings, mentioning their pending weekly wages of $106. Interestingly, the bottle was one of the early items using the metric scale, reflecting Australia's shift from the imperial system. Streetfield sought help to connect with the 4 individuals who signed the note on Facebook, and as luck would have it, one of the people who signed the note was located, a person named Ron Nidri. Nidri reminisced about the note and confirmed that although late, he eventually received his wages for that week. Streetfield intends to preserve this remarkable piece of history. As his renovation continues, he plans to place the original bottle back between the walls. And honestly, if I had a similar find today, I'd do the same.
Yep.
Number 10. Thousands in cash under floorboards. I know I've shown you several couples who have discovered quite a large sum of cash, but here's another. Because, let's face it, there's nothing more surprising than finding money hidden away in unexpected places in your home. With that being said, here's another person who seemed to have lady luck on their side. Andy Rasmussen discovered approximately $30,000 in cash hidden beneath the floorboards during a home renovation. The cash, stored in 20s and 50s, appeared to have suffered damage from mice and moisture over time. Andy and his wife, Carissa Rasmussen, are veterans in the home remodeling business, having run their company, Accessible Homes, for 13 years, catering especially to individuals with disabilities. This particular renovation project was for the nonprofit organization Bethesda, which serves individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Andy speculated that someone in the past might have concealed the money above a heat duct running beneath the floor. Highlighting the ethics of his team, Andy stated that the discovered money would be donated back to Bethesda, ensuring it supports those with disabilities. Number 9. Trove of...
I get that, but make sure you keep a little something for yourself too. You know what I mean? They wouldn't have that without you. Reward yourself, you know? Normally I'd be like, you found that? Don't say nothing to nobody. But in order for you to get like the true value, you gotta notify something. And it's like, as soon as you notify somebody, here comes everything crashing down because everybody wanted to put their hand in it and take their cut.
Of gold coins. In 2019, while renovating their 18th century home in Ellerby, North Yorkshire in the United Kingdom, a couple discovered a cache of gold coins dating from 1610 to 1727 beneath their floorboards. These coins narrowly missed the treasure designation of the 1996 Treasure Act, allowing the couple to retain them. Now that's incredibly perfect for this couple because some people don't get anything out of such discoveries. The trove of coins has an approximate value of around $115,000, but its worth could elevate its price to a staggering $288,000. And of course, the best part is that the couple could use the money for themselves. Number 8. An astounding artifact and an undeserved $35,000 fine. Louise Alex, a property owner from Vancouver Island, was stunned by a $35,000 bill after her land was designated a heritage site. Yeah, you heard that right. She had to pay something, not the other way around. The Alex family's property is near the Englishman River, historically inhabited by the Nanoose First Nation. Aside from Aboriginal artifacts, bones were also discovered on the property. Now, most of us would be incredibly stoked by this discovery, but after learning about the consequences, your excitement would soon turn into disappointment. Louise, who had lived on the property for 40 years, expressed her surprise at finding bones she had previously gardened there without discovering anything. Many residents are unaware of such heritage designations since no system currently informs them. Aside from not being informed about the possible existence of historical artifacts, homeowners also aren't informed about potential financial obligations. You see, under BC's Heritage Conservation Act, property designated as a heritage site must be assessed, and any First Nations artifacts or remains removed at the owner's expense. Violations carry hefty fines or jail time. Now that's just quite an unreasonable act, don't you think? But back to Louise's property. The local archaeologist informed them of the heritage obligations, leading to an unexpected and prolonged dig. Originally estimated at $4,000, the costs ballooned to $35,000 after more significant discoveries, causing financial and emotional stress to the family.
So you can honestly sit here and tell me that's right. That's okay for them to do that to us. Like, are you serious, man? Like, I'm telling you, bro, it's not designed for us to win.
What would you do if you were the one who encountered this situation? Would you keep the find to yourself? And what do you think about this rule? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Number 7. A rare Roman villa. In 2016, Luke Irwin, a rug designer from Wiltshire in the United Kingdom, unexpectedly uncovered a massive piece of ancient history while attempting to install lighting for his ping pong games. Digging beneath his garden, Irwin struck an intricate mosaic floor that showed a grand discovery beneath. Experts explained that this mosaic was part of the ruins of a Roman villa. The site yielded numerous historical items like animal remains, coins, brooches, ceramics, and even a Roman child's burial site. The discovery of hundreds of oysters, considered a delicacy in Roman times, indicates that the villa's residents were likely of high status. Now that's how you know you bought an incredible property. Number 6. $33 million egg. Now you're probably wondering just what egg could go as high as $33 million. But you see, I'm not talking about any ordinary egg. A man in the US was left stunned when he realized that a seemingly ordinary egg resting on his kitchen counter was a rare 19th century Fabergé egg, valued at approximately 20 million pounds. For reference, that's around $33 million. Initially purchasing the egg for $14,000 from a Midwest antique store, the owner had even considered melting it down for the gold and the precious gems it bore.
That owner gotta be sick right now. He gotta be sick, bro. To hear, because you know that the word made it back to them on how much that thing is worth. Yeah, I'd be so nauseous.
However, in 2012, after years of the egg sitting on his counter, a simple Google search linking the word egg and the inscribed name Vacherin Constantine led him to a news piece about the missing treasure. And this led to the new addition of yet another brilliantly crafted Fabergé egg. In case this is the first time you've heard about the Fabergé eggs, these intricate pieces were made by none other than Carl Fabergé. These eggs are intricate creations crafted in Imperial Russia during the late 19th and 20th centuries. These opulent art pieces were primarily commissioned by the Russian Tsars Alexander III and Nicholas II as Easter gifts for their wives and family. Each egg is unique, often containing a surprise inside, and meticulously crafted using precious metals, gemstones, and enamels. Their rich history ties them to the splendor of the Russian imperial court, but also the tumult of the Russian Revolution. Post-revolution, many of these eggs were lost or sold. For years, there has been a hope to reunite all Fabergé eggs in one place. However, given their value, those with enough money would likely not let these eggs slip through their hands. Number 5. A pile of diamonds. I know this isn't exactly a home, but I think this deserves a spot in this video. A surprising discovery was made during the renovation of the former Warner Company jewelry store in northwest Fresno, when a construction worker stumbled upon a stash of diamonds. These precious stones were tucked away behind some shelves in small envelopes. Well, after the discovery, the construction worker and the supposed owners of the establishment soon got caught in a battle as to who the rightful owners of the diamonds were. Number 4. Corpse hidden for 3 decades. Now, the last thing you'd want to find on a property is a dead body, no matter how old that is. But, well, that's still what construction workers found while renovating a homeowner's newly bought dream mansion in Paris Elite's 7th district. This Parisian home was said to be owned by Francois Copy, with grand gardens stretching out at the back. One can only dream of the high society soirees that once graced these grounds. It turns out, however, that beneath its luxurious exterior lies a chilling mystery: a man's remains, untouched for 3 decades. Imagine purchasing a home for a staggering 35.1 million euros, only to discover a body beneath it. Naturally, since the body is only several decades old, it's not considered a historical find, but rather a crime scene. The Paris prosecutor's office didn't delay, launching a murder investigation right after the corpse's discovery. Bruno Picard, the lawyer overseeing the mansion's auction, recounted the startling find. The chilling part? This basement haven had remained unvisited for years. Even during the property auction assessment, it was overlooked. 3 decades, 1 mansion, and a tale that remains unsolved. What happened in this Parisian basement? Well, to this day, the truth about this body remains unknown. Number 3. Perfectly preserved 7,000-year-old skeleton. Archaeologists near Krakow in Poland unearthed an exceptionally well-preserved 7,000-year-old Neolithic skeleton during a town square renovation. Alongside the skeleton were fragments of pottery characteristic of the linear pottery culture, suggesting that the burial might be around 7,000 years. experts estimate. And if that's not mysterious enough, they found fragments of pottery from the linear pottery culture right next to it. But what preserved this relic of the past? The answer lies in the soil. A non-acidic, loosely packed soil shielded our Neolithic friend, ensuring it stood the test of time. The team's next step was to radiocarbon date the skeleton and study it further, hoping to learn more about the deceased individual they discovered. Number 2. FBI tells couple to keep quiet about what they found.
What?
Imagine finding something that is so unexpected that even authorities felt the need to keep your find hush-hush. In 2016, this discovery spread throughout the internet, and it's so unbelievable that it sounds straight out of an action movie. It all started when one Ohio couple began renovations in their basement. Little did they know they would encounter something incredibly unexpected. The couple decided to take on the arduous task of getting the ceiling of the basement finally replaced. Then, they noticed an odd lunchbox wedged between the ceiling and the first floor. They expected to find nothing more than rubbish, so imagine their surprise when they discovered wax paper wrapped around what turned out to be thousands of dollars. Some were 50s and some...
It had to be money. And if the FBI is going to tell me to keep quiet about it, y'all being crooked. Nope. Y'all are not about to cut me out of this. No.
Were $100 bills. And all of them were printed between 1928 and 1934, making them all the more valuable. Aside from the money, they also discovered a newspaper clipping. The Cleveland Plain Dealer, the town's newspaper that dates back to March 25, 1951. This was 65 years after the discovery was made. After sitting down and finally realizing just what they found, they decided to call a lawyer, who told them that the money they found was worth around $23,000. But it seemed like their luck didn't end there. They found another lunchbox that contained more money, valued at around $45,000. Now you would think that that's the end. The couple has money to put into renovating their home, and all's well. But it gets stranger. There was a small door that, according to the realtor, had the water heater behind it. But instead of that, they found some sort of hidden chamber that led to a secret panel. There, they found a homemade safe and a briefcase with watches and old paperwork. But what's in the safe? It had a letter that said, "Save yourself," in dripping black ink. The rest of the contents were videotapes with a note that simply read, "Do not." Well, they did find out about the contents of the videotapes. As they say, curiosity killed the cat. And honestly, I'd be curious and take a look as well. Now you're probably wondering what the tape's contents are. Well, the couple chose not to reveal it. But whatever it was, it drove the couple to contact the FBI. And it was serious enough not to be discussed in public. In fact,
now that makes sense of why they call the FBI now. But in the beginning, I was like, what are y'all doing?
The couple was updating their Facebook account regularly until they watched the tape. That's when the FBI told them to stop it and keep their find under wraps. So, any theories about the past homeowners? Criminal masterminds? Who knows? Number 1. 400-year-old murals found during kitchen renovation. Since we started off with an art discovery, let's go back to another one. While renovating a kitchen in an apartment on Micklegate Street in York, Northern England, contractors stumbled upon a 400-year-old biblical mural hidden behind a wall. During the renovation process, this ancient fresco was inadvertently covered by the new cupboards. The apartment owner, Luke Budworth, having identified another suspicious panel in the living area, soon discovered a second matching mural, partly obscured by the ceiling. This second fresco illustrated a man confined in a cage, being towed by an angel, and another man in a radiant cart appearing to ascend to heaven. Now, no one expects to see an entire mural hiding behind their old cupboards, much less a centuries-old one. After their discovery, experts tried contacting the tenant to survey and assess the artwork. However, it was already believed that the mural was created between 1635 and 1700, a time when, ironically, the art style seen in the mural fell out of fashion. Regardless of who its creator is, its sheer beauty and age guarantee that it would be a prized artwork for experts. In fact, several experts had already planned to speak with Budworth about restoring the artwork.